Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome my people, my peoples. We talking about black people, white people, Chinese people, people. Welcome to the Tuesday night flight on this brought to you by the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. I am the man, I am the person, I am the human being they call the Midnight Rider. As you can see with me, we have the big guy KG, Flying Brian. I like that by the way. Um Again, the Tuesday night flight. Uh, Fellas, how you feel? Let's start there.
Feel good. Did you looking at my
Oh,
shirt? I'm in a good mood.
Okay.
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm on assignment, but I'm here. I said I could still show up, even being on assignment, so I feel good.
That's
Dedication.
what's up, man. Dedication as always, baby. So the template of the show is we're gonna take you through some of my Tuesday night staples. We're gonna do the Gentleman Jack's top 10. We're gonna do the list. I think we have a special guest, Coach Robeson, joining us as well to get that started. Um, we do have our normal business because we did lose someone this week, so we got to take care of that. And then after all of that, we talk a little World Series, and then we end up the night with the nickel, like we always do, doing what we do the way we do, only way that the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network can do it. So with that being said, let's hit the first thing right off the bat. Um, let's start with rest in peace, George Atkinson, uh, longtime Oakland Raider, um, father to two sons that committed suicide. Um, Interesting story here. Do you want to take this, KG?
Yeah, I can take this with you. If you don't know, George Atkinson and Jack Tatum comprise one of the most deadliest safety tandems in NFL history, and they were known it for fierce hitters. Whenever I think of George Atkinson, I'll never forget when they were talking about Lynn Swan and telling Lynn Swan, "You better off on TV." Because that's what you want to do. You want more TV time than you want to play football. You're more interested in being a TV announcer than a football player. They didn't take no stuff. Didn't take no stuff. 76 um Super Bowl champion with the Raiders. Long career. Then tragedy struck. He had two twin sons, Notre Dame alum, George Atkinson III and Josh. And George committed suicide, and I think about a year later, uh, Josh committed suicide. His wife, their mom, she passed away from complications from Crohn's disease. So he's dealt with a lot of death in the family. And it's heartbreaking. I'm not even gonna lie to you, it's all heartbreaking. And Anthony said it best. He lived a long life and long storied life at that. So rest in peace to the hitman, George Atkinson.
And here's Anthony, just part of what KG worked up to. I know dying is sad, but the guy lived a long life. George Atkinson was in his 80s or 90s. It's more sad that Nick Mingo passed away at 41. Yeah, I think we covered some of that on Sunday's show. Um, and as always, hi, Anthony. Thanks for jumping in with us. We got some content I know you're going to want to comment on. So just stay around, stick around. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a fun time. Anything from you, Mr. Flying Brian?
No, just he did a good job covering it.
All right,
Rest in
cool.
peace. Yep.
Not a problem. All right, so let's go. You know what? Let's go ahead and talk a little bit of the marathon that was last night. 18 innings of baseball. Game 3 of the World Series ending like I think it was a division series game in LA where Freddie Freeman walked off with a home run. Um, We had two guys pitch heck of a ball game. It was a 4-4 game. And then we went a long time without runs. Finally ended with Freddie Freeman hitting the walk-off. The other great nugget from the night is Shohei Ohtani was on base 9 times, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous that. I know football was on last night. I don't know how much you guys got a chance to look at it, check it out. Give me your thoughts if you got any.
Yeah, so my family's Commanders fan, so they were over at my house to watch that. So I was going back and forth a little bit, but I was watching it after, but then kind of forgot that it was on. So at like 2:00 in the morning, I go, "Oh, I wonder who won the game." So I pulled up to look at, see the stats on my ESPN app. I was like, "Oh, it's still going." Okay. So then I started watching the 17th inning, and then I fell asleep before the home run. But then I woke up this morning, watched all the highlights, and watched this. Yeah, it was cool. It's awesome. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but as a sports fan and what the World Series is, this is cool. And if you're a diehard baseball fan, I can't imagine. It must have been awesome.
So I didn't realize it was on till right when Freddie Freeman hits the home run. So I get the home run, and I'm like, man, this must be a highlight from last night. And then I see everybody celebrating. I'm like, oh, okay. That just happened. So yeah, man, that was crazy, man. Yeah, that was real crazy, man. I don't even know what's going on there. I don't even know why it started that way. But yeah. KG, you got anything?
Nah, I got nothing. I was in the bed early, so I didn't catch it on. I was supposed to catch it on replay, but I ain't even get around to it.
I saw when he threw him out at the second base, Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
Went off the bag. So I saw that live, and I said I was watching some of the 17th inning, but yeah, it was cool. Anytime there's a walk-off home run, let alone in the World Series, after I think what they say the duration of the game was over 6 hours, close to 7, I think.
Yeah. You could have driven from here to like North Carolina, and the game that'd have been your whole thing.
Here, let's do it on the radio. You'd have been good.
Yeah. I got a great question from Anthony for you, and I'm gonna definitely pull this up. Flying Brian, are you a Brian Pillman fan? Brian Pillman Senior fan?
Yeah. So on a show I used to do before we were talking wrestling, and the guy that was on there just started cutting a Dusty Rose promo and called me Flying Brian, and I was looking for a nickname. I was like, oh, that sounds good. So yeah, so it worked. But yeah, I know Flying Brian obviously from the WCW days, and he played for the Bengals and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So do you have because on this show we do have promos that we love. Do you have a promo that you love?
By Pillman or just in general for wrestling?
Just in general for wrestling.
Oh, so I have two personal favorite all-time promos. Jake the Snake Roberts from WrestleMania 6, where he cuts the promo of on Ted DiBiase about wallowing in the muck of Everest, and Rock's entire 13-minute heel promo in Toronto when he was Hollywood Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my two personal favorite promos.
All right, and then let's go with this next. Since we won't get into a little bit of wrestling, because I want to get to know you a little bit as we do these shows. Favorite Rock intro?
Like the opening of a Rock song?
Like no, I'm talking about Rock the wrestler.
Okay.
Favorite entrance of his?
Well, it's not the one where he set his name on fire. That was kind of stupid. To be honest with you, I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I think that's why I liked it when he was Hollywood Rock and they had the long heel intro with the music build and the Titantron and all that was real cool.
Bruh.
But if you hated it, that was the point. So to me, that's why I liked it, because everybody was pissed off about it, but that means it did its job.
That is my favorite promo. I love that.
That's why I said, bruh. Because that's Midnight Rider. He forces that on me.
Yo, it was the best thing because it's so much about the build up
Yeah.
That's the key. So that's why it's so good. That's why it works so well. So that's the whole point of it. It's like it's drawn out, and it's like, what are we waiting on? And then it's just boom, and he hits, man. I'm all for that.
There was one specific one during the build up to WrestleMania 40. I don't know if it was on SmackDown or Raw, but Cody standing in the ring and the lights go off and then Rock stuff's hit and it does that build that they were doing. And Rock comes out like through when the lightning's going off and it's dark. And you see like Rock come through the darkness and Cody's like back is towards the camera and you see Cody in the ring. That was really like cinematic, real cool, but still waiting on that payoff for the match. So
yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
All right, looks like Jack has a comment real quick. He said only player to hit 2 walk-off homers in World Series. Yes, sir. That's correct. The last one I think they were playing Boston, I think it was. If memory serves me correct. I could be wrong on that. Let's stop talking about the guy and let's bring the guy in here. Gentleman Jack, how you feeling, baby? No sound, brother.
Well, thank you. Do you happen to see Coach Robeson in the room, Ben?
I don't.
No.
I sent him the link.
Sure you didn't send him the passenger seat link?
No, sir. No, I did not. I sent him the one KG gave me earlier. It ends with HWQ. HWQ.
All right, maybe we got capacity. I'm gonna see if Boss will hop out. Yeah,
sure.
So I still don't see Coach because Boss just hopped out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anybody in there.
What's it do? HWQ. It's the same one I used, the same one I sent him. I'll continue to communicate with him if we want to get started and he jump in. We'll see how it goes.
All right, well, you have your staple. Let's start with your staple. You have your college football top 10.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Sounds good. It's not much change this week. You know, it was a great week for the top 10 guys. 0 losses in the top 10. So sitting at the number 1 spot is going to be the same squad's been there pretty much all season for me, and that's Ohio State Buckeyes. They were on a bye week this week, so they were just sitting back chilling, getting ready to go on down and have Penn State come up in their house this Saturday at noon, and you can watch that one on Fox. At number 2 spot, I still stick by it. I think this is the best team in the SEC. Texas A&M Aggies, 8-0. They had a tough game last week against LSU, and I thought they performed very well. Very well. That was a big test for Texas A&M, in my opinion. They beat LSU 49-25. Up next for Texas A&M, they are on their bye week. In the number 3 spot is a team that's just taken a lot of people by storm. But the Sideline Junkies podcast, we've been sniffing this Indiana squad for a couple of years now, fellas, haven't we? So
yes,
they sitting at 8-0, man. They didn't have much of a matchup with UCLA coming to town, but UCLA can scare you sometime. But they didn't scare Indiana. Indiana rolled them out, 56-6. Up next for Indiana, they're going to be coming to College Park to face the Terps. 3:30 on CBS will be Indiana, Maryland this Saturday. Number 4 spot, Ole Miss. Ole Miss sitting with a 7-1 record. They beat Oklahoma, a tough squad, man. Oklahoma, they can put it together, and sometimes they can't put it together. That's why they've been bouncing around in the teens instead of the top 10 of everybody's list. But they beat Oklahoma 34-26. I thought Ole Miss put up a solid performance. Up next, they got South Carolina coming to their house 7 p.m. Saturday on ESPN. And Alabama moved up a little bit. I think I got them bumped them up 1 spot. Alabama 7-1. They look sharp. South Carolina, they like that little pest that keeps bothering you. And there's many teams that still got to face this South Carolina team that's going to bother them. So watch out for South Carolina. They ain't no pushover, man. And then they got their bye week coming up this week here in Alabama. So the top 5 stayed the same, I think, except for me moving Bama up 1. So in the number 6 spot, the Ducks of Oregon, 7-1, beat a stumbling, tumbling Wisconsin team. It's difficult to see Wisconsin not really putting out some good competitive football because we've been used to it for years, but they're on a down year. They got beat 21-7 by the Ducks. The Ducks coming up, they're on their bye week as well. Georgia Bulldogs, 6-1 in my number 7 spot. They were on a bye week, so they're got a home game against them Gators. Them Gators coming down to Georgia. So we'll see how that goes. 3:30 ABC. Number 8 spot, a squad the Junkies have been following as well for the past 2 years. It's Vanderbilt Commodores, man. They are really blowing the scene. Got them at the number 8 spot, 7-1. They had a tough fight against Missouri. Missouri's a really good defensive team, and they showed that. 17-10, Vanderbilt pulled out that win. Up next, Vandy's going to get a little test. They got to go to Texas and face them Horns, man. Noon on ABC. So Vandy's already been battle tested, and so far so good. You know, they've been handling it, and I like what Diego Pavia is doing over there. We'll talk much more about him later. Number 9 spot, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. ACC making a statement here at 8-0. They beat Syracuse 41-16. Up next, Tech's going to North Carolina State. 7:30 game on ESPN2. And then coming in at my number 10 spot, it's going to be BYU Cougars. 8-0. They beat a really tough Iowa State squad. Iowa State is a scrappy. They got a great quarterback over there in Beck. I tell you, I like Iowa State squad. They just need a few more pieces. But they defeated Iowa State 41-27. Up next, BYU's on their bye week as well. We got 6 undefeated teams left in NCAA football. I've listed you 5 of them in this top 10, and the 6th one isn't even in anybody's top 25. So if I made a top 25, I would put this team at 25 no matter what, because they 7-0. And that's the midshipmen from the Naval Academy. Navy comes in at 7-0 as the 6th undefeated team, guys. So that's the wrap up right there of what I got at top 10. Anybody got anything to chime in about or maybe question about?
Not really. You're about where I thought you were going to be. It looks like I'm trying to get. Let's see, because Anthony went on a nice little run here. Who do you guys?
Coaches here.
Who has a favorite to get the mini? I guess he means the Nittany Lions job in Penn State. I'm not sure on that one. I think it's going to kind of be a dance with some chairs. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be your friend. I think it's going to be your best buddy, Mr. Kelly. I think Mr. Kelly's going to go Penn State.
Well, I think he's from that area or something, so that's interesting. Let's knock these out because these are all college football related. I think Kempton ends up going to Florida. I think LSU was going to hire someone in state, maybe the Tulane coach, because he knows how to recruit Texas and Louisiana. I can see that. I haven't really gotten into all of it. I'm still waiting for everything to unfold. Because the big requirement for a head coach at LSU is to be able to recruit the state of Louisiana and Texas at a high level. Makes sense. That's the reason why Brian Kelly got fired, because he alienated half the coaches in Texas and Louisiana, focusing on recruiting the Midwest. I'm gonna let you be the Adam Schefter on that info. With it. Let's see what else he has. I like Indiana, but I feel they're overrated a little bit outside of Oregon, who have they face. Really, Illinois was overrated, to be honest. would you have Miami? I guess he's asking where do you have the Hurricanes ranked?
Right about where they deserve in the teams.
All right. And then he says, really, Jack, you have Georgia Tech ranked over Miami 1. Miami has a better resume in terms of the big wins they had. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, they both play in a weaker conference in the ACC now. So I mean, I can't schedule who they play, but they both play in a weak conference, Anthony. If you look at it.
All right. Well, we have our guest, I guess I wouldn't say member. Yeah, a member of the alum of the in the passenger seat podcast show as a guest. Coach Robeson, welcome to the stage. Welcome to the room. And Coach Robeson here is for one of the staples of the show, where we tell what quarterbacks actually made the list. And this is our top 5 quarterbacks going into the year, or actually throughout the year. So first and foremost, Jack, I know you had some questions for Coach. I'm gonna let you knock that out first, and then we can go on from there.
All right. Well, hey, Coach, welcome. First of all, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me again.
All right. Now, I know you tuned in a couple weeks ago when we were going over, I guess we could say, the perimeters of how you make your list. And it seems that it's me, you, and Midnight Rider who make the list here. And it seems that all three of us kind of go about it a different way, but not to say my way's right, your way's right, Ben's way's right. We'll see when come end of the year, and then we go into the draft with our quarterbacks. So can you explain to us a little bit about your procedure in ranking these quarterbacks versus, how we do it either way?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing that I was thinking about early in the season is, I don't like to judge quarterbacks based on hype. Preseason, they clear, a lot of them played last year, and so you have a little bit of a body of work to build on. But really what I wanted to base it on was what they did and have been doing on the field this year. And when you do that, the list, I think it's probably true for all three of us. You start looking at a pretty big list. Maybe as a few weeks go by, you chop a few things off the list and maybe you add a couple to the list based on what we see on the field and so forth. But that I just felt like early on the list was huge. So picking a top 5 was really, really difficult. And so I sort of made just some rules for myself just to sort of explain it. But I kind of felt like, for the most part, you guys are picking a top 5 and I might be picking a different top 5 and we have some honorable mentions, but I really don't disagree with you guys for the most part, because we're kind of seeing the same stuff. So if you have Fernando Mendoza as number 1 week and I have him as number 4, we probably are both really liking Fernando Mendoza, And so I don't know that we're doing more than splitting hairs on that. But as the weeks go by, we start to see a little bit more, right? We see a little bit more every week. And so the rules that I sort of put in place for myself are becoming more clear. And probably I'll just mention them to you. But the first thing I decided was if they didn't play that week, I just didn't want to put them on the list because I wanted to give other guys a chance. Now, as the season unfolds, all the bye weeks will get over with. And like I didn't look at Julian Sayin this past week, and I didn't look, at John Mateer one week that he was hurt. And, I didn't look at whoever wasn't playing in a given week. But I think that they needed to, winning actually is something that I think is a quarterback stat. And so I know there's a lot to, it's a team game and defense makes a big difference, right? Defense forcing a fumble against South Carolina made a huge difference this past week for Ty Simpson, right? So the defense was huge for Alabama, but Ty Simpson came through. You know, he came through and helped get Alabama a win. You know, Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt, we've been talking about him. You guys have been talking about him. You know, more than anything, Pavia is a winner. I mean, that team follows him. He doesn't have great stats necessarily, but he is protecting the football, and in Vanderbilt style, that's what they need. So anyway, that was the other thing is winning team. They've got to show up in big games, and they've got to demonstrate an ability to be on a big stage. I think if a quarterback shows that a stage is too big for them, which I kind of felt like that happened a little bit a few weeks back to Carson Beck, even though it was a Friday night against Louisville, I felt like that was, you know, not the game at a prime time on a Friday night to throw 4 picks. And I always felt a little bit hinky about Carson Beck at Georgia last year. There was something about him that I didn't really feel like it inspired confidence in me, but he's clearly a really good quarterback and he can throw it really well. But I felt like that was a mark against him. And then, you know, the other thing is just showing improvement. You know, Ty Simpson didn't look any good at all against Florida State. And then he kind of has gotten a little bit better every week. I feel like, you know, just to go back to Mendoza at Indiana. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. No, because I wanted to kind of bounce back to you a little bit on this Ty Simpson. Yeah, I felt like I knew I was alone staying on the island week 1. I didn't have him in my top 5, but I talked a lot about him after week 1. It was something about his grit and his moxie that made me feel like if this team follows him, he's going to lead them. He's probably going to be one of their better quarterbacks of the last couple of years that they've had of these guys that this little run that they're on. So that's kind of how I felt about him. Pavia, he's a grits guy to me. He's all grits.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's one of those guys that 43 men or 90 men, whatever it is in college football, they will follow him.
Yes.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but yeah, I think you're exactly right. So I think a couple weeks ago I was watching you guys, and I appreciate, Jack, you sharing my list with you guys' lists. And one of the questions you had, which was a legitimate question, is, hey, is Coach Rob just looking at this week to week and just kind of starting over, or is he looking at it as a cumulative thing for the season? And really, I have been looking at it as a cumulative thing for the season, but I do tend to emphasize what have you done lately. And I think each game as the season goes on is a little important. I know a week in a couple of weeks when the SEC, every big team playing a cup, like the second to last, whatever. But and probably I think a lot of those teams will blitz. They'll just blast through the first half and then let their starters rest in the second half. But generally speaking, every week is a little bit more important. And I think what's going to be really, really fascinating are the teams that are going to the playoff who don't make the conference championship game and how that's going to be an advantage to them. And I see a Vanderbilt as a team that all these one-loss teams, except for Alabama, I think Alabama may find themselves in an unfortunate position, and they may very well, assuming everybody wins out, they may very well beat Texas A&M. But the reality is, if Alabama loses an SEC championship game, they're still probably going to get in. But with 2 losses, it becomes debatable, because then all of a sudden, do you put an Ole Miss above them with 1 loss, a Georgia team above them with 1 loss, even though they lost head-to-head? Georgia's now 11-1, Alabama's 11-2. So it's just an interesting scenario. And then the other thing is Notre Dame is kind of a question mark, and then that number 2 team from the ACC might be a question mark as well, because right now it looks like we've got 3 teams from the Big Ten, 5 from the SEC. You've got your other 5, and then your Big 12 and your ACC. So Notre Dame is sort of a wild card right now. Whoever number 2 is in the ACC might be a wild card, and then that number 4 or 5 team in the SEC might lower that, and Notre Dame could take it. So SEC only has 4 teams. I don't see the Big Ten getting more than 3 in this year.
All right. Well, fellas, with that being said, let's stick to the monetary nature of what we're here to do business for, and let's talk about the list. And let's start at the enviable position of number 5. Number 5.
What
Coach,
order are we going in, Ben? Okay.
Coach, go first. Number 5.
Okay. Well, I was really happy this past week that my wife surprised me with tickets to the Vanderbilt Missouri game, and Vanderbilt spent 2 years doing
Wow.
upgrades. We met my freshman year in college when I was a walk-on quarterback at Vanderbilt, and so it was kind of a cool thing. I don't think I've been to a Vanderbilt game since the 90s, but anyway, we saw Vanderbilt play, and Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt is my number 5.
Nice pick, Coach. Nice pick, Coach. I like that. But at number 5, I got that cat from Texas A&M, Marcel Reed. I really like the way he runs the offense. I think he could be a little bit more better percentage of his completions. He's not that high of a percentage, but I got Marcel Reed, Texas A&M, number 5. Midnight Rider.
At the number 5 spot, my list hasn't really changed. I got Dante Moore, Oregon quarterback, at the number 5 spot. With that being said, let's go to the next spot. Number 4. Number 4. Coach.
Number 4, I have Haynes King from Georgia Tech. Definitely a different style, dual threat than Diego Pavia, different demeanor, but very similar in that team will follow him. He is a gritty guy. He is a leader. And, man, they're undefeated. The Yellow Jackets have not lost a game yet. It seems like they've won every way possible, and they've had a lot of close games, which makes me think they're probably not in the top 5 in the country. But Haynes King, Georgia Tech, he's got the Yellow Jackets 8-0.
Okay. I'm going to take one of these here from my guy, man. Not so fast, Coach. I don't have Haynes King that far up yet, but he is catching my eye. At the number 4 spot, I got your guy, Diego Pavia. He is doing everything you said, Coach. He is controlling that team. He's helping that team win in all ways he can. And I agree with you having Pavia up here on this list. Midnight Rider, 4.
You talking about number 4? Number 4.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna sound like we got something on repeat. Diego Pavia. Like I said, I think the guy's all grit and leading the world in moxie, and that's what he does. He just leads. I can see him being a Baker Mayfield type. The only question I have for him is age. Like, how old is he, and how old will he be when he tries to go in the NFL? Because that could be a deterrent for him. With that being said, we are at the 3 spot. So number 3, Coach.
All right. My number 3 is a guy that's been number 1 in previous weeks for me, but this week, number 3, Ty Simpson, Alabama. I thought, winning teams, championship team, find ways to, and I thought South Carolina probably played one of their best games of the year this year.
Mm-hmm.
They, like Denny Green used to say, South Carolina had them where they wanted them, and they let them off the hook. But Ty Simpson came up big in big moments, protected the ball, used his legs well, made good decisions, made some easy throws, but he made them with perfect timing, perfect velocity, some screens, some stuff to the side. And you said it also, Midnight Rider, he has got moxie. He is a leader. He is a winner. And for that reason, I'm concerned if I'm playing Alabama, going forward. They're a dangerous team whenever he is leading them.
Totally agree.
Yes, indeed. No, you're 100% correct. I consider Alabama one of the hottest teams in the country. I mean, ever since early on, they've gotten their shit together and have been taking care of business. And Ty Simpson's a big part of that. My number 3, we're going to go on down to Rocky Top, and we're going to get down with Tennessee quarterback Joey Aguilar. I think Aguilar is not just the yardage he's accumulating. I mean, he's getting the touchdown passes as well. He's up at the tops in the country in both. I like Joey Aguilar a lot. He wasn't even on my list in the beginning, but he's really showed me a lot of things. So Joey Aguilar at number 3. Isn't that right?
Number 3, he's been mentioned already. It's the young man from Texas A&M, Marcel Reed. I just think when I came into the season, I did not expect Texas A&M to be this good. I expected them to do the things that Texas A&M always does, and that's have a big roster, have players listed that are 5 stars and all this and all that. But then when they get to Texas A&M, they become all regular. But yeah, I have Marcel Reed in my 3 spot. I think 2 and 1 is gonna be similar for a lot of us, but let's get to it. Number two.
My number 2 this week is the aforementioned Fernando Mendoza of the Indiana Hoosiers. You know, UCLA looks like a completely different team after they fired their coach. Nico was on a roll. Then he comes up after the 3rd week and has a squeaky win against the Terps, I think it was, right? At home.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come to Indiana with a little bit of swagger, a little bit of confidence. And Indiana, led by Fernando Mendoza, said, no. They said that you're not in the same class as us. And Indiana is the way they beat, not just the score, but the way their defense was swarming to the ball, the way they ran the ball, the way they won the line of scrimmage. Indiana, if they were playing Ohio State on a neutral field this weekend, I would pick Indiana. Fernando Mendoza is my number 2.
Yes, indeed. I agree with that prediction there. If they were playing them in a neutral site, you're right. But my number 2, and like Midnight Rider said a minute ago, when we get up here in 3, 2, 1, we're going to be very probably similar. I got Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson at number 2. His club's 7-1. Ty's thrown for 2,200 yards, 68% completion rate, 20 touchdowns. But the key thing I like about Simpson, 1 interception. 1. And something I don't really like about Simpson is he's been sacked a lot. But I think that's from him trying to extend plays or make something happen. Several of those sacks. But, yeah, compared to most of the other guys, 14 sacks is a lot. And I just don't want to see Simpson get hurt because he's trying to, do everything he can to make the play profitable. So I got Ty Simpson at number 2. Midnight Rider, where you at on 2?
I'm just going to go ahead and say it because you already started talking about him. Is Simpson at 2? And the reason I like him is everything we said and everything we've been saying the whole show. I don't even think. I mean, we've talked about him, all 3 of us already. So not much to add on this one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, number 1. Go. Number 1.
Before I reveal my number 1, guys, I've got a quick comment and then a quick trivia question that will be relevant to this list. But first of all, just making a comment about Ty Simpson. You'll notice, and you mentioned Marcel Reed's stats earlier. Marcel Reed, Haynes King, Diego Pavia, all do a lot of waggles. They do a lot of sprint outs. They're given a lot of run options. And a lot of times the best thing they can do in a bad look is throw the ball away. Quarterbacks that tend to drop back tend to have check downs. DeBoer's offense for Simpson. And frankly, I think in the Big Ten, Julian Sayin and Mendoza, they have mismatches. They have a lot of dudes that are better athletes than their defenders. And so they can throw the ball up when you can't do that as much against SEC defensive backfields. So I don't consider, Mendoza and Sayin's percentage, although higher, necessarily indicative of them being better than some of these run pass option guys, because they are throwing the ball away and they're starting to think about, field position and getting back to the next down, as well as, they're not taking as many sacks. So I just would keep that in mind with the completion percentage. So here's my trivia question, and you'll probably figure out the answer to the trivia question is my number one. But what quarterback that we have already mentioned went to the same high school as Vanderbilt head coach Clark Lee and yours truly, Coach Drew Robinson?
Oh,
Which quarterback went to the same high school as Clark Lee and Drew Robinson? Anybody?
I'm gonna go on a limb and say Hank King.
My number one pick, Marcel Reed, Texas A&M.
really?
Montgomery Bell Academy, Nashville, Tennessee. He is my number one. And I'll tell you, I've been watching this kid since he was in middle school. Marcel Reed, I've watched him play 100 basketball games. I've watched him play football games. As talented as this guy was, and boy, did he make some LSU guys look stupid missing him the way he ran the ball last week. He has got a great arm and a great set of legs on him, but this guy is smart. He is very intelligent, and he has got a steady demeanor where he is not wavering as a leader, and he has emerged as I guess he's a sophomore, I think, but he has emerged as the guy that is putting this team on his back in terms of make good decisions. I'm not worried about him throwing a pick, getting a fumble, somebody picking up and scoring, and that changing his demeanor. He's going to be rock solid mentally throughout the game. He is he is a great leader, a lot like some of the other guys that we've talked about. So my number one, and of course, what a week he had against LSU, Marcel Reed, Texas A&M.
Definitely. That's a fine choice, Coach. And like I said, where did I have Reed? I had Reed at 5. Midnight Rider had Reed at 3. So, hey, all right. My number one is the gentleman that's quarterbacking this basketball school, the Indiana Hoosiers. I like Fernando Mendoza, and I am going to throw stats around again. I mean, I'm a 1,900 passing yards, 73% completion percentage, 24 passing touchdowns with just 3 interceptions. He's got an incredible quarterback rating, rating 188.5. That's pretty good. I like Mendoza. I've liked him for some time. I think I started with Mendoza. Honorable mention, probably. So that's where I got Mendoza. Midnight Rider, who do you got at Uno?
Uno was the same as yours, man. Mendoza.
Yeah.
I think it's just he's a solid kid. Anytime you can put Indiana in the top 5, I mean, we got to think about this. We're living in a world where BYU, Indiana, and Vanderbilt are like in the top 12 teams in the country right now. If you had told me that 10 years ago, I looked at you like you had 3 heads and the 4th one was growing out your shoulder. So it's amazing times. It's amazing how this process has changed the landscape, and it's also made it so. I think this is part of why we're in this place now where coaches aren't going to get 10 years to run a program. You're going to get 4 or 5. It's going to be like an NFL job, and if you can't get the job done in that 4 or 5 year span, they're going to move on from you. They're going to keep going to somebody else because the money's too much. You can change your roster overnight, and I think the time for you to have longevity at one place isn't going to work. I think the only people impervious to this is like maybe a Dion at Colorado. I don't think his record is going to hurt him too much because he brings too much value on the other side of the ledger for the state of Colorado.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Anything else you guys wanted to drop in before we let you guys go?
Coach, how about give us 2 honorable mentions?
Got you.
2 honorable mentions. Okay, well, I had 5.
Just something
I'll mention a couple.
I do too.
I'll mention two that haven't been mentioned yet today. How about that? That'll be good.
Perfect.
Sure.
A
Sure.
couple of guys that had gutty wins. I have mentioned them before this week, but we haven't mentioned them today. And one of them I will say is Brendan Sorsby with Cincinnati. He had a nice day running the football. He's also a tough competitor. I love the way Cincinnati plays, and he's a fun guy to watch. The other guy that I will mention, which, you know, this team is in that sort of thick of things with the ACC, and they seem to have I think he's won 3 overtime games this year, and that's Chandler Morris at Virginia.
Virginia. Yep.
Great leader, gutty player, teammates love him, and he's a fun guy to watch, you know. So Virginia and Cincinnati are a couple of teams because of their quarterbacks that are fun to watch. I believe both teams, I know Virginia has 1 loss, and I think Cincinnati is still just with the 1 loss, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
You said
Yeah,
Chandler
that's
Morris. Didn't he play at like Marshall or somewhere? He went to a couple of schools before he got.
He did. Yeah, you're exactly right. Just like you're talking about, Midnight Rider, the transfer portal has changed everything, and it's going to be interesting in the next years in terms of, I think it's moving toward Big Ten, SEC, or if you want to use the names Fox, ESPN, we're
Right.
moving towards 2 major conferences, and as soon as they organize, the league is going to be better. We're not going to worry about strength of schedule anymore, but there are going to be some more regulations, I think, imposed on the portal so that guys aren't hopping around every single year.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, that's definitely got to happen. It's definitely got to happen. I don't know how coaches, or even if they have general managers incorporated these universities now, I don't know how they could handle that year in and year out, man. It's got to be a 2-year stipulation or something. My
Well,
honorable mention, guys. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Let's stay on topic. Go ahead. Honorable mention.
My honorable mention, guys. I mean, I'm still high on Sawyer Robinson, and I had Haynes King. Haynes King not only gets it done with the arm, but he gets it done with the feet too, man. He's got almost 700 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns to go with his 7 passing touchdowns. So that man's getting it done in a dual way, as a dual threat. So Haynes King and Sawyer Robinson, my honorable mentions. But I do want to throw out there real quick, since we got Coach on here, Midnight Rider. Did you notice what happened with North Texas's quarterback this weekend, Coach?
I did not. Tell me.
His name is Drew Mestemaker. He
Yep.
threw for 608 yards, 4 touchdowns this weekend against who? Maybe that's Connecticut. You know, when you get into them small schools, it's just a bunch of initials. But yeah, he threw for 608 yards, 37 for 49, 4 touchdowns this weekend. I was just seeing if anybody was aware that happened. That's, I don't care.
You
who
know,
play, that's a lot of yards.
I did watch him play against South Florida, where they lost, and he did have a tough night. He threw 4 picks that night, I believe. But yeah, I have been watching Drew's stats, and I've been watching some of his highlights. But I watched that whole game against South Florida, and North Texas they were undefeated, I believe, when they played South Florida, and South Florida had only the 1 loss at that time to Miami, but they have since lost in that thriller to Memphis. So anyway, yeah, Drew's a gutty guy. He had a bad night though, the game that I watched him.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up to you guys. It's a big number, and I thought it should be said.
No, that's fine. We always like quarterback performances and things of that nature. Jack, before we hit commercial, do you want to talk about what you got going on tomorrow?
Sure, no problem at all. Tomorrow night, man, I got Ooh, this is going to be a good one, Coach. I got a 4-time NCAA academic All-American going to be on the show, a 4-year starter at the University of Maryland. I'm going to have Maryland's long snapper, Ethan Goff, on the show tomorrow. Looking so forward to talking to him. He's just a great young man. I've had his uncle on the show a few months ago, and that's how I ran into talking about this young man. He's a tremendous young man. I think everybody's going to enjoy this show. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m., the Gentleman Jack will be riding around with Ethan Goff tomorrow. 4-time NCAA academic All-American, 4-year starter at the University of Maryland. So it looks like it's going to be a good show tomorrow.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for jumping in with us. We're going to hit this commercial, and you might see a little irony in the reason why I asked Jack the question about who he has on the show, because we're going to hit you with the commercial, the intro for In the Passenger Seat. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you saw last segment, that was the Gentleman Jack and Coach Roberson giving us some information in the college football world, the college football top 10, the top 5 QB list. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to the next part of the show. And the next part of the show is the nickel. And that's where we do our recap of the games from the weekend. Big guy KG, you know I don't like this. Flip this for me. Oh no, you can't do it. I got you. All right, there we go. And with that being said, don't laugh at me, Brian. It's a dynamic of the show, man. I got to be in a certain spot.
Hey,
Brian.
you do your thing, man.
Hey, all right. So let's leave this off. You know what? You new here, so let's go here. Let's lead off with the Bills versus the Panthers. Bills 40, Panthers 9. You know what? We'll go to you first because it's your team. So that's normally how I like to do things. If it's your team, I either let you go first or either I let you go last, depending on how we're doing this. But let's let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was the Panthers, and that's fine. But they were on a 3-game win streak. They were 4-3. Buffalo looked good on every all aspects of the game, and Josh didn't technically have a great game, but he didn't need to do much because James Cook just decided to run all over them. And going into that game, the Panthers' run defense was, I think, top 5, or top 10. But yeah, it was a win that was needed coming off the 2 losses and going into the Chiefs game. It was exactly what they needed to do. So yeah, as a big fan, I enjoyed it. Yeah. Comment from the boss B. Yeah, I'm hoping they go after Olave. I know that's been a rumor for a while. So I know they got Amari Cooper last year, and even though like his numbers weren't like mind blowing or anything, but just him being on the field just added a different dynamic. So getting somebody like Olave would be game changing. So I believe, there's always a stigma if they're ever going to beat the Chiefs. But they have to get the receiver. And their rookie corner played for the first time during the Panthers game. He looked pretty good. A little bit he played. So I think the defense will get better. The run defense has always been a weakness to them, but I do think the defense will get better over time. Their schedule is still pretty soft. Besides they got the Bucks, Chiefs, Eagles are the toughest teams. Well, the Patriots, I guess, are pretty good right now, but I think a 12-5 is easy. And whether they get the division or not, I don't really think that matters. But for the win, I enjoyed it. I don't,
If you can't tell, the boss is a Bills fan as well. He says, "I knew I liked you for some reason, Brian."
I thought he was an Olave fan. I wasn't sure.
No, he's a Bills fan for sure.
Yeah.
Olave, that's an interesting call, man, because I think the only thing I worry about him is the head injuries. He's had a couple, and I don't know if he could be a long-term solution. He could probably be a short-term for sure.
And it's
But I
kind of
don't
what they're
know.
looking for short term. I mean, they're been all in the last couple years. I mean,
Yeah.
if they lose to the Chiefs again, I mean, not that I personally think they should fire McDermott or Brandon Beane. That's a whole nother long conversation. But if you lose to the same team 5 times in the playoffs, something's got to change, I would imagine, and it's not going to be Josh Allen. So, yeah, Coleman hasn't looked good since the first game.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's interesting. Real quick, let's hop through. So the final score was Buffalo 40, the Panthers 9. Our leaders of the ball game and stat categories: Josh Allen 163, 12 and 19, 1 touchdown. Andy Dalton 175, 16 and 24 with a pick. James Cook 216 yards. Take it to the house, young fellas. 2 TDs. Rico Dowdle with 54 yards for Carolina. In terms of receiving yards, Shakir led the Bills with 88 yards on 6 receptions and a TD. And on the Panther side, Ted McMillan, 99 yards and 7 receptions. In terms of sacks, some dude named Hawked. I don't know why. I don't know if I want to pronounce it, but it's 1.5 sacks for him. And then Wallace got 1 sack for the Carolina Panthers. KG, if you're with me, say something, make some noise.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Thoughts on Buffalo and Carolina?
This is a game we said that was going to be over quickly. So much to the chagrin of the Nubian Sumo, but this game was going to be over quickly. We were good. I wish Buffalo would have ran the ball a little bit more so we can get more production out of James Cook. But
Yeah,
Buffalo bounced back. They got to keep going though.
He had 216. What more do you want?
I believe Kobe Bryant said it best. More.
Okay.
Break more records. Is he the same beast yet a different animal?
I don't know where you're going with that one, but okay.
You're welcome.
Real quick, if you move on to the next game, probably the biggest thing out of that is Ed Oliver tore his bicep. So that's another.
He's had like the worst stretch of injuries. Like I think he had a torn pec either a year or two ago. He's had the big ones like the pec, the tricep, and the bicep. It feels like, and maybe I'm wrong because I'm an outsider, but I thought that's kind of his injury history.
I think you're confusing him and Milano.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Oliver's been pretty healthy, except for this season. He's been pretty beat up, and then I think they put him on IR. They didn't officially say if the season was over, but Milano's been banged up all the time.
Right. Okay. That's what I'm confusing them with.
Yeah. But those are the top 2 defensive guys, so it makes sense.
All right. My thoughts is real simple. Buffalo's got it made, man. I mean, you played Carolina, you went in, you handled your business, you didn't play with your food. You went for the kill and you got done early. So nothing but kudos on that, man, for me. Let's go to the next one. I don't see who's in the thing, so let's go with this. Boom. Packers 35, Steelers 20. The Aaron Rodgers Bowl. In the Aaron Rodgers Bowl, Aaron Rodgers did Aaron Rodgers things, but they came up short. I think it's amazing that the Packers have gone almost 30 years and have had 3 quarterbacks. They've never gone in to quarterback hell, which is crazy. Quick look at the stats from the ball game if my computer acts right. Here we go. Jordan Love, 360 passing, 3 touchdowns. Emmanuel Wilson, 61 yards rushing on 11 carries. Tucker Kraft, 7 receptions, 143 and 2 touchdowns. On the other side of the ledger, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, 219 and 2 touchdowns. Jaylen Warren, 62 yards on 13 carries. For the receiving core, Roman Wilson, 4 receptions, 74 yards and a touchdown. And then DK Metcalf, 5 receptions, 55 yards and a touchdown. And with that being said, I will turn the floor over to you, Mr. Flying Brian.
Yeah, it was first half was good and competitive. And then Jordan Love took over and the Packers didn't let up in the second half. I don't have much faith in the Steelers. I feel like that and Vegas does too, that the division is there for the Ravens for the taking. And the Packers, obviously the NFC, we got the Eagles and the Rams, but they look good. The trade for Parsons looked like it was obviously the right move, and they're rolling. The tie with Dallas is a little weird, but when you get closer to playoffs, that probably won't really matter. So, Rodgers looks pretty good, for the age and all the circumstances, but I don't see the Steelers making the playoffs. And I think that the Ravens start making a run here with their schedule and with Lamar coming back. So,
okay. All right. KG, big guy. Talk to me.
I'm going to say this. I said Aaron Rodgers wouldn't get this win on Sunday morning on the Sunday Rise presented to you by the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. I said Aaron Rodgers would not get this win. This would have made him have, I think, be the second or third quarterback that's beat every team in the league. Mm-hmm. No, you won't get this. And it wasn't because of Aaron Rodgers. I feel like Aaron Rodgers don't really have everything around him, and he needs way more than what he has at this advanced age. So, and I think the Packers are just a better team. You said something about the Packers in the last 30 years. They've never been in quarterback hell. And us inside the Beltway, we know what quarterback hell is the last 30 years. From Gus Frerotte to, from Heath Schuler to Jaden Daniels, we've had a lot of starting quarterbacks here. But in Green Bay, you've had quarterback heaven. So, and Jordan Love has proven that he may be, if he wins a championship, if he wins one in the next year or two, and then he wins another, he'll leapfrog Brett Favre, he'll leapfrog Aaron Rodgers, and he'll be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with one Bartlett Starr, who's the greatest quarterback in Green Bay Packer history.
I think the Steelers let Love Tucker them out. Tucker had a great game. The 2 touchdowns, 143 yards. Just an all-star day for this young fella. And I mean, Love, like I keep telling y'all, man, Love is there, man. Love is kind, Love is patient. And Jordan Love he has these moments. And it's funny because just as much as he'll give you this 360, the next time you see him, he might only give you 190. So you gotta let, I don't know, you can't let Love get started, because I think it's a thing for him. Once he gets moving, it's a movement, it's a machine. And I think, again, we're in a situation where he got a great performance from Tucker. I think they got a surprise performance from Elijah Wilson, who most people don't even know what school he went to, and probably couldn't recognize him if he sat in your lap, smacked you, and said, "I'm Emmanuel Wilson." So, good performances all around the way for them. Let's see. You posted something. Somebody pulled this up. Maddie says Dodgers scored first. Again, 1-0, bottom of the second. And then Maddie jumps in and says Packers second half dominated. That's exactly true. And we'll get into something similar to that as we move on through the list. Through the nickel. But with that being said, let's get to the next ball game. And since you brought this team up, let's go to them. Ravens 30, Bears 16. For me, this was kind of a shocker. Only from the standpoint of I didn't know that Snoop got his gin and juice and came out and performed like a star quarterback. But here we go. Stats for the game. Baltimore 30, Bears 16. Caleb Williams, 285, no touchdowns, passing. DeAndre Swift, 45 yards rushing, 1 TD. Rome Odunze, 7 receptions, 114 yards, no TDs. And then on the other side of the ledger, Tyler Snoop Huntley, 186 through the air on 17 to 22, 1 touchdown. Derrick Henry, 21 carries, 71 yards, a 3.4 average, and 2 TDs. He was doing the Lord's work yesterday, on Sunday, I should say. And then Zay Flowers, 7 receptions, 63 yards, and no TDs. Ladies and gentlemen, Flying Brian, take it away. Take it away.
Yeah, it's it was exactly what the Ravens needed. The season was probably pretty much over if they would have lost this. Coming into the game, their defense has been rough except for the Rams game, and then without Lamar, nobody gave them a shot. They won soundly. They got to turn around in a few days and play the Dolphins. I know the Dolphins look good, but I'm pretty sure that's just an anomaly, and I expect the Ravens to handle them too. And hopefully in 6-7 weeks from now, they'll be back to normal in the AFC, where it's about the Ravens, the Bills, and the Chiefs.
All right, KG.
This is another one I called. And not only did I call, but Jackson called it on Sunday too as our guest picker. He said that the Ravens would take this game, and the Ravens did just that. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be honest with you. When they say bear down, it's a bear down. Like I'm not even complaining. I'm not joking. This Bears team, I told you Sunday I wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm not going to. I have no faith in this Bears team whatsoever. Not until they get more around Caleb. I don't have any faith in this Bears team.
Get more.
More.
More. What you mean more?
As Kobe Bryant would say, more.
More. No.
Hold on. He's got Cole Kmet, Colston Leveland as his tight ends. He's got Rome Odunze, DJ Moore. Like, he's got more than Justin Fields ever had.
To show my age a little bit, I want some more, sir.
Ever. He's had more than Jim McMahon's ever had. He's had more than Eric Kramer's ever had. Do I need to go further?
Mike Tomzak, Jim Harbaugh.
I could have gone those two as well. He's quite had more.
I just don't think it's enough. And when we talk about quarterbacks, we always talk about the same thing. You have to take a quarterback's weaknesses and you have to hide them. And I'm not saying that Caleb's weaknesses are not hidden, but I think he deserves more. And I think he needs the Ben Roethlisberger treatment, where the OC sits down with him in the offseason. What plays are you comfortable with when I call? And how would the plays you're not comfortable with, what makes you not comfortable? And this, that, and the third. That's what I believe. That's just my thought. I'm not saying handcuff him, but I'm not saying baby him either. But I'm saying involve him a little bit more. And you probably see a different side of him. But he also has to endear himself to his teammates. I'm not saying that he doesn't, but endear himself to the teammates so he can get the most out of them too. But I'm not believing this Chicago Bear Kool-Aid. I'm not drinking it. I'm good.
I'm sorry. That just was Vlad Guerrero going yard on Shohei Ohtani. Score is now 2-1. Vlad got all of that. Talking about no doubt, baby. And you know what Vlad likes to say, right? Yankees lose. Yankees lose. Sorry. That's just for you, KG. Shout out to
that. I was getting ready to tell you, don't do that. Don't do that. But you did it anyway. Okay.
So our World Series update is Toronto 2, LA 1. Shohei's on the mound. I think we're in the second inning as we speak, maybe the third. Once the screen comes back up, we're in the third, top of the third. So there you go. That's your baseball update real quick. and we are 2 games left in the nickel. So let's go ahead and knock those 2 out and then get us on our way on this fine Tuesday. And the next game up is the Broncos 44 and the Dallas Cowboys 24. Broncos went to the woodshed, grabbed that whooping stick, and put a little tie-out on the Cowboys. Let's see what we get here stats wise. Dak Prescott, 19 to 31, 188 with 2 interceptions. Javonte Williams, 41 yards rushing on 13 carries, 2 TDs. George Pickens, 7 for 78 yards and no TD. And then CeeDee Lamb, 7 for 74 with no TD. That's the Dallas side of the ledger. On the Denver Broncos side, it's Bo Nix, 19 to 29 with 247, 4 TDs, 1 interception. J.K. Dobbins, 15 carries, 111 yards, 0 TDs. R.J. Harvey sighting, 7 carries, 46 yards, 2 TDs. And then Troy Franklin, 6 receptions, 89 yards, and 2 TDs. As they always say, Flying Brian, take us away.
Yeah, so I know there was a MVP talk for Dak coming into this game, and even though the record's not there for that, but I know there's so many questions about the Broncos and stuff, but they look good. I know the Cowboys defense have made a lot of quarterbacks look good this year, but Broncos are 6-2. Game looked good. It's 3-way race for the division. I'm not sold on the Broncos all the way. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid although I don't think there's a lot of Kool-Aid going on around them, but but for the performance, for the game itself, nothing to be unhappy about if you're a Broncos fan.
In Denver, they smoke a lot of weed, so it'd probably be, you're not getting high off the weed.
No, I'm not getting high off that.
Yeah.
I mean, in the next few years, and I think they're kind of in the same boat with the Patriots. I feel, maybe they're both teams are there this year, and we'll see. But I feel like your normal staple teams are still going to be when the playoffs come on and when it's on the line. But if you're a Broncos fan, you got to be happy, and you got to be happy for the future. If you're a Cowboys fan, I don't know the last time you've been happy. I think I was a child the last time Cowboys fans were happy, but doesn't look like it's ever going to really get any better there with Jerry Jones running the show. So it's pay Dak though. Dak's highest paid quarterback in the league for a reason, right?
KG, talk to me. Talk to me, KG.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Can you hear me straight?
Yeah, you good.
All right, I want to tell you this because I want to piggyback over something you said. The Broncos whooped that ass so good, it was like, ta-da! That's how it was. That's how it was. And I say that. That's one thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say to a special somebody that's related to me by blood. You talked all that shit when y'all beat Commanders. You was all in your cowboy gear, and you was all gussied up with your cowboy hat and your boots on and your cowboy coach's shirt. I ain't heard nothing from you in about a week there, boss. What's going on? What's happening? You had a lot of shit to talk. When I say about the Cowboys every season, you go through the same cycle. You beat hurt teams, weak teams, and stuff like that. You pad your stats, and you eat, and you get fat. And then when you get fat, you know what you do? You get complacent. When it comes to playoff time and it comes to November and December, you can't find it when you sitting there scratching your neck like Tyrone Biggles talking about, y'all got any more of them hurt teams? Yeah, this is what the Cowboys did. The Cowboys ain't what you think they are. The Cowboys think they hot shit, but they ain't nothing but cold diarrhea. How about that? I love that the Broncos did this in AT&T Stadium. Oh. And they dismantled them so beautifully. I love it. But it also shows the weakness that the Cowboys have that they will not address. Shout out to the Broncos, though. They went up in that thing. They handled business. Your boy, Bo Nix, I got to give it to you. Midnight Rider said it on draft night. This kid's going to be a star in this league. I love the way he plays. I love Bo Nix. And I guess we got to ask, do you believe?
Oh, do you believe? Yes. Dude, I keep telling you. I told you on draft night, like, if there was one coach that had to go get him, and I think honestly, to be honest, beyond a shadow of a doubt, there was only one coach that could make this kid work, and it was Sean Payton. I said it on draft night. I was like, yo, I told you. I don't know if we went off the air before 12 or what the pick or what. I was like, yo, that's going to be the pick that happens, and it has to happen in order for those two guys to find success going forward. And luckily that happened. That marriage happened. So now they up in the big leagues. You know what I'm saying? It's them two together. Ain't nothing wrong with that because they moving on up. And when I say moving on up, they're moving up in the standings and making things happen. And they're gonna make it hard for KC to get to be division champs. Now they may falter later on, but for right now, they're making it an interesting conversation for them boys. And KC may regret losing a couple games early because of that situation. But for right now, let's see what happens. Let's see where this goes. Let the sideshow begin. Hurry. Step right on in, baby. Next up, final game on the ledger. Chiefs 28, Commanders 7. Brian, I'll let you go first because I know the guy beside you has some
A lot to say.
things to get off his chest.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't surprised. I thought the first half was good. It was competitive. There was some hope there. If Jaden played with the way the defense played in the first half and the turnovers, it could have been a completely different game. But not that Mariota's a terrible quarterback, but I just don't know how anyone has expected a team to go into Arrowhead with a backup quarterback and two receivers coming off injuries, one who hadn't played all season or barely all season, to beat the Chiefs. But I guess there's a few things to like if you're a Commanders fan, but season's not over, and I think Jaden hopefully will be back this weekend, and it's a tough game against the Seahawks coming up. But yeah, I mean, I won't talk too much about it. It's kind of what we all expected, but
No, go ahead. What else you got?
no, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and fillet the Chiefs. Obviously, as a Bills fan for the last 4 or 5 years.
Oh, that's all right. That's
Yeah.
a little personal.
I was, they're back, and Mahomes is the best. Whatever. I'll wait till January where they play him again.
Well, y'all see him this weekend.
I know, but Buffalo's won 4 straight in the regular season and has been nothing. So I expect it to be a good game. I don't know how Buffalo's going to do with the defense, but the Chiefs look like the Chiefs now after the first few weeks. So,
all right, KG, talk to me.
You alluded to it earlier, and I always catch cues, and I always try to send cues up to you, and you send cues to me. So step right up, hurry, before the show begins. That was the saddest show in town, and it only cost me 50 cents to see.
Yes.
What life has done to those like you and me. Man, I am hurt because I'm not used to this team playing like this. Everybody's saying fire Joe Witt. Hold on. Stop. Wait a minute. You calling for Joe Witt's head right now. But these are the same people, and I keep notes. These are the same people that was really good with Greg Minuski. You were good with Joe Barry, but you want Joe Witt's head after you was praising him last year. Now you want his head. Cut it out. We need help in the secondary. And I say we need help. Marshawn Lattimore played a pretty good game, but we need help. I really do believe that Jeremy Reeves should not be starting at safety. I think Jeremy Reeves is our special teams guy. I don't think he should be starting at safety. That's my opinion. We need help in the secondary. We can't stop anybody. Our linebackers are behind everything. Why are we not arriving violently? Where's Luvu? I haven't heard Luvu's name called a whole lot this year as being in the backfield and stuff like that. But I also noticed he's been getting held a lot too. He getting the Ryan Kerrigan, Brian Arakpo syndrome where he's coming off the edge and he's getting held and nobody's throwing a flag. But I honestly thought that this game was going to be way more competitive than it was. And it just wasn't. It didn't hit right. And it's Tuesday And day after a win, it's either take your pants off Monday or take your pants off Tuesday. I ain't been able to take my pants off in 2 weeks, man. I got to keep pants on. I don't like that. Something's got to change. Something's got to change. Defensively, something has to change. And offensively, we got to find a rhythm. We have no tempo. We have no rhythm. And I've noticed that even with Jaden, we have spurts where we have rhythm. Everybody's saying sophomore jinx. No. Everybody to figure them out. No, we don't have the same rhythm. Something's missing. We're not firing on all cylinders. If you are familiar with cars and one of your spark plugs are bad, your car's going to misfire. And it's going to mess up gas mileage and everything else. And I think we're at the point now where we're hitting a misfire. And that misfire is really taking a toll on us. And something has to change. Something's got to change. So hopefully going into this week, it's a short week, but hopefully Dan Quinn and company can put some things together and say, hey, we got to get this right, because this loss right here, you got to look at it and ask yourself, where's this season headed? Where are we going? What are we doing?
So I took this game as I knew they weren't going to win. I tried to talk myself into it all day before the game. And then after the Marcus Lattimore interception, I was like, oh, okay, maybe we can make this happen. But it was like every time you did something positive, something negative happened right behind it. And you just couldn't get right. This was a can't get right ball game. Like you started off the first drive, moving the ball down the field, ball goes off a Debo shield, somehow bounces right to the defensive end. Then you come back the next drive and you get a bad spot on a fourth down, and then you get another drive, and like it's just like the problem with this team all year, and I've said this the whole season, the biggest difference is last year they were always able to respond. Last year, if Cincinnati went down and scored on a 14-play drive, well, we did a 10-play drive and we answered. And the problem is this team hasn't answered the bell for the first 8 weeks. They've struggled. They haven't found their way. They lost in the desert. And I just hope it's going to take them 40 days and 40 nights to find their way. That's all I'm saying. And I definitely hope this isn't their season of Job, because if that's the case, then we in trouble for a long time. But the problem is you got your top 4 defensive ends are gone. You're playing Jacob Martin, who most people didn't think was going to make the team. You got Von Miller on the other side. You got Tunsil leaving the game early with a hamstring. It's just crazy, man. It's amazing how these moments happen, and this ball club just can't seem to get right. You know what I'm saying? KG, you know what I'm about to say. It's like Luther's curl. It just don't curl right. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only problem we having right now. But I expect them to, hopefully they can get things together. You know, maybe you get Daniels back and you see this offense at its top level. Because I think Daniels makes everybody else look better. And I think Mariota doesn't have that ability. Like he can't hide the scars of this wide receiving core. But I think Luke McCaffrey's starting to show you some stuff. Unfortunately, the kid Jalen Lane had a bad day. The bad kickoff return where the ball goes out at the 1 yard line, and then you have the other situation where he drops a pass on the third down conversion. So it's just like one of those things where if it hasn't been 72 and sunny, this team hasn't won ball games. This team hasn't looked like the team from last year. And if they can find that or some of that magic, then they got a chance. I'm talking about this chance ain't no regular chance. This Lloyd Christmas looking at Miss Swanson saying there's a chance type of chance.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
There you go. Yeah, I like you, Brian. I like you.
So, can I say something, Midnight Rider?
Yeah.
Again, like you keep saying stuff and it keeps like it's putting me and a mindset. And I wanted to say something. You said you hope this ain't our season of Job, and you know most people don't know Job was sick for so long. His wife told him, "Curse your God and die." Now I ain't here to preach. Now I just want to tell you a little something. Job held on to hope. Job knew that God was going to work it out. And I feel like we're not in our season of Job because we've been through our season of Job from 1993 until 2021, 22. We were in our season of Job because we were sick for so long. So we've already held that. We've already been there. We've already been there. So, you know, it's one of those things where everybody calling for somebody's head and this person to get cut and that person to get cut. Sometimes you got to hold on to faith.
It is.
And for those that don't understand what faith is the hope for things not seen. Geez, I can't even get it right because I'm excited. But we know what faith is. And you got to hold on to faith. You got to have faith in his coaching staff. I got faith in the ownership. Have faith in the coaching staff. Have faith. People want to get rid of Adam Peters. Have faith right now. We just hitting a little dark time. Don't worry about it. Now, what's going to happen if we run the table for the rest of the season? Then everybody going to want to jump back on the bandwagon. Nah, bandwagon closed. Because if you can't be with us right now, while we struggling, we trying to put the pieces together, don't decide to come around when everything together and we already established.
What you trying to tell them? Don't catch the vapors?
No, hey, don't catch the vapors. They got the vapors. Like, nah, don't even do that. Like, I mean, sometimes you got to have a little faith. You got to hold out. I kind of figured that we were going to have a kind of messed up season, but I didn't think it was going to be to this proportion. But we got to start putting points up again. We coming out and we flat. Things got to change.
It's not even they flat. They just haven't had their lineup since week one. Somebody's been missing.
Yeah.
Somebody's been gone, but it's gonna be okay. Let's go ahead and get to hold on. I missed some comments, I see. So let's hit these comments. Let's see. Bears shit the bed, very disappointing L. Oh yeah, KG, I was gonna ask you, that bear that you found on the side of the road, was his fingernails painted?
They were.
He have a little flower in his
Vlad 2-run blast 2-1. All right. Matty Ice, thank you, Rice, for the late TD and another W for Matty Ice. There we go. Last year, your offense helped the D by keeping people off the field. This year, not as much. True that. If in the AFC would have a better chance, but a lot of times you have to leapfrog. True that. Hey, and by the way, tomorrow, let's see, what is tomorrow?
Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Wednesday. So we already played that. All right, so we're good. I covered my commercial breaks. Oh, no. Because the next thing that's up on the agenda, just so you know, folks, the greatest Friday Eve special. I'm going to give you a quick break of that, and then we're going to head out after I wrap this up with these guys. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, that is the phenomenon that happens on Thursdays. It is called the Thursday Night Throwdown. I don't know who your hosts are this week, but I know I'm gonna be there. If the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, I think the big guy's gonna be in attendance as well. but we'll go back after that. With all that being said, gentlemen, let's wrap this thing up and let's do it with the segment we call Wrap That Shit Up, B. This is a segment where basically, Brian, I know you haven't done this show with us, so I'm going to just explain it. This is sports nuggets, sports news, sports topic, sports information that you wanted to cover, but we didn't cover in the rundown. So this is your chance to just put something on our minds and let us know, hey, did you know, or did you see, or what I saw?
Actually, real quick, I liked Anthony's question, so I kind of wanted to get you guys' feedback of what he said.
Okay, go ahead. What did I miss?
Yeah. Is there a safety currently that's playing NFL that you guys feel might be the closest to George Atkinson?
No. And the reason I say no so quickly is because the things that George Atkinson was allowed to do to wide receivers, he's charged right now as we speak. In some KG, what you think?
I say no, and I say no just as quickly as you, but I wasn't gonna go to that far. It's a simple fact that no safeties don't have that heart anymore. They don't have that. See, guys don't know how to play the game without leading with their head. One thing about hard hitting safeties in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. I mean, granted, you can't do a night train necktie, but guys led with their shoulders and tore you up, tore you a new one, right shoulder right in your sternum. Sean Taylor was famous for that. Never led with his head, but could knock you in the next week with his shoulder. Guys don't play like that anymore. They're too reckless. And there's not a safety in the last 10 years that represented. I think the last safety you had that represented that fierce type of play was Ed Reed. And you don't have anybody. Ed Reed, Bob Sanders, that era right there, that was the last of a dying breed. You don't have any more safeties like that. So
how you gonna leave Wolverine out?
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian Dawkins too. No, jeez, Weapon X.
Mm-hmm.
Lord have mercy. I never forget that story. I'm sorry, but when Takeo Spikes was like, he hit him, he's like, I'm gonna take his soul.
Yes, sir.
And said he hit him and jumped up on the sideline and yelled, hallelujah. I was like, man, you gotta be crazy to hit somebody and yell hallelujah. I'm good.
Dude, the man had two lockers. He had Brian Dawkins on one side of the locker, and on the other locker, he had Weapon X. That, to me, that alone, that tells me enough about this man. And I'm gonna tell you right now, him coming out of Clemson, I didn't see this guy. I'm gonna give you Chris Collinsworth. Now, here's a guy that's gonna hit you into next week. Here's a guy that's gonna try to take your head off. I remember he talked to Cooley one day. He was like, Cooley, you lucky I love you. Because I guess Cooley caught one across the middle and Dawkins took it easy on him. He said he laughed and was like, yeah, I took that one easy on you. So yeah, man. I don't think we got safeties like that. I don't think the league allows you to play like that.
That's true.
Anything else, B?
Just real quick, your thoughts on the Lamar injury stuff, the way it's been going the last few years about the reporting of, I know there's a little bit of controversy around it, but like supposedly full practice on Friday, but then they changed it and he didn't play and all this kind of stuff. And there was some stuff resurfacing that Harbaugh did something similar to this a few years ago. I just curious, get your take on it. And then all of a sudden Lamar's ready. He's playing Thursday. So
no, I think the funny part about it is, these, like, the league acts like these updates are for us. This is for gambling, baby. It's for Vegas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the reason that Baltimore probably came out and made that statement is because some Joey Bag of Donuts was upset that Lamar was a full practice, but he only practiced on the practice squad team or with the backups, the scout team. And it became knowledge. And that's the only thing. Like the NFL will try to tell you, oh, this and this about gambling, but they cater to it.
Oh yeah.
The rules are catered to us getting that $3 parlay with 17 lines on it and trying to win $2,000 off a $3 dream. KG,
You're not wrong.
I think it's irrelevant. Like, but think about it like this. I think it's smart. He practiced full practice on Friday. They kept him out on Sunday, and then you're going to play again on Thursday. If he would have played on Sunday, he wouldn't have been able to go on Thursday, and then you probably would have set him back, and he would have been sitting down again. This is smart. You got a short work week coming up. This is smart. This is football. If you have to investigate into that to figure out this is football, you don't know the game. And anybody that would call for that, you don't know the game. This is smart.
well, here's the thing. The designation was he was a full practice, but then they had to go back and change it to a partial participant or something like that because he only did scout team work. So that's where I think Brian's question is coming from, is the fact that they had to go back and change it from regular full practice to him working with the scout team, which means he was a limited participant.
That shouldn't even be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing because I hate it.
Okay. Let's see. The two safeties I'm going to bring up are a perfect example of this. Dick Anderson and Jake Scott for the Dolphins. They can either cover or lay the wood on you. What era was that? Jake Scott was like the 70s, right?
72. It was the MVP of the Super Bowl 7.
We don't play football like this no more.
Yeah.
So
But Jake Scott. Jake Scott and Dick Anderson can cover.
We don't play football like this no more, KG. And then the man with the plan, Lee Ice, checking in. Good evening, fellas. Good evening, Lee Ice.
My partner in crime.
There you go. I hope you caught us earlier. Otherwise, this is the tail end. We about to get out of here. Let's see what this next thing is. Let's be honest as fans. Were we shocked that an investigation like this was going to happen when they have a professional team in Vegas? The professional sports in the United States suspect. I don't know what you're exactly talking about, but I think you got to understand one thing. And I said this when some of the news of the Vegas incident with the basketball players came out. The fact that we legalized gambling put a lot of this on Front Street. So this isn't something that's going to go through the cracks because somebody's got a Bovado account. It's not going to be something that's happening on somebody's other offshore account. And I don't want to name all the offshore accounts, but I trust me, I have one. So like you can't I think people will use the legal gambling in America as a short porch to say, oh, this is what's wrong with sports. But the real reality of it all is because we have, and the way they set up the sports gambling part of this, we now get more information than we ever had before. So we're going to catch that abnormality of Terry Rozier always being under 9 points. We're going to catch that abnormality of Clase for the Cleveland Indians always throwing his first pitch into the dugout. Like we're catching those things now because now they are on our radar because they see the money being off on this bet. And I think keep telling people the gambling world is made of cheaters. And the cheaters know what cheaters are going to do. So you can't really get anything over on the cheaters because they've been where you at. But for some reason, these athletes believe that they can get one over, and it's not going to happen. Won't do it. Can't do it. Can't win with them. Won't win with them.
Can't do it.
Nope. Guys, any closing thoughts before we get out?
I just got one thing. I messed up the quote earlier, but let me put it to you this way. Faith is the substance of things hopeful, but the evidence of things not yet seen. I was too excited and couldn't get to it, but I got it. That's the faith that you got to have. So that's going back to the Commanders.
All right. Flying Brian.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Enjoyed talking
Yo,
Buffalo beating Carolina.
I think I got an idea for a logo. I know I always send a bunch of logo ideas, but I think
Yeah.
we should do it like a black and white Flying Brian, like on a TV.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can find it and go
I
with
just got to
that.
figure out how to put it on in the background. That's all.
No, you just we gotta figure that part out too.
Yeah.
But yeah. My last thought is probably gone from my head right now because I just had it and it's gone. So what I'm gonna do is do what any responsible American is gonna do, and that's gonna say thank you guys for watching us. Don't forget tomorrow night in the passenger seat, 8 p.m. The gentleman Jack Carr is gonna do his thing. Bring you interviews. I think the kid was a long snapper. His last name was Go. I think if memory serves me correct, I think his uncle is the guy that caught the fish that was bigger than Michael Jordan's fish in that $1 million contest.
Oh,
But
yeah.
with that being said, we are the Sideline Junkies. This is the Tuesday Night Flight. I got my man Flying Brian. I got the gentleman. I got we had the gentleman Jack. We had Coach Roberson. We had the big guy KG. The boss man was going to jump on with us, but we lost a little bit of time there. And with that being said, we are out of here. Good night. God bless, and catch y'all tomorrow.